All right, this is Tech Smackdown by April Gramenz, and we're going to cover the 20 best tools for teachers for websites, apps, and extensions. Okay, so these sites, apps, and extensions are meant to make your job easier. So as instructors, we spend a lot of time working on lesson plans, grading, and all of the other things that go along with being a teacher in order to give our students the tools they need to succeed. So that means our families can sometimes suffer from neglect because of the long hours that we put in. But these tools will help you continue to be an effective educator while doing a little bit less work so that your family and your sanity can prosper. So work smarter, not harder. All right, so we're going to start off with websites. First thing, Google Classroom. Now, the main thing about Google Classroom is that your school must have a Google Apps for Education account or you won't be able to use this. If your school does, though, please make use of Google Classroom. It is such a time saver. You create your classes. If your students have devices in class, it makes it even better. Or if you have a computer lab you can take them to, that's an option as well. Or even if students have technology access at home, they can get on here. If they're absent, they can still get their homework assignments. You can see work they're doing in real time on homework assignments. It makes grading a lot easier. They submit it, you get to see it, you grade it, you send it back, boom. Saves a lot of money and time spent on copying. It decreases the incidence of, oh, I lost my homework, or oh, I forgot my homework. Can't happen. It's in a digital file that you get on here. And again, one of the best things is you can see work as they do it. If they have a Google Doc that they're doing an assignment on, even if they have not submitted that yet, you can go on there and look and see that the progress that they've made so far. Next thing is Pinterest. Not every school allows you to access Pinterest at work. Some of them have that as a blocked social media site. However, you can still use it at home. Or again, if your particular location does not have it blocked, it can be a great tool. There are a lot of ideas on here. You can create your own personalized boards to use for classroom management ideas, decoration ideas, project ideas for certain classes. So many different resources, and it's a great place to keep them all in one spot without having a bunch of papers that you need to keep track of. Remind is the next website. This is also an app that you can use on your phone, or you can log in and use the site on the computer. Remind is great for sending out important reminders to students, parents, fellow teachers, anyone that needs updates. You can use it for classroom purposes, so reminding about assignments. I tend to use it with my organization since I sponsor FCCLA and Student Council. I use it to send out reminders about dues, what time we're leaving for certain trips, pretty much anything you want to do. You create a class, you add people to it, either by their phone numbers, or you can let people know you have it and they can create an account and just use the ad code. It's a great way to, again, send out reminders and kind of a CYA thing. It gives you a nice trail of conversations so that if there's ever any issue later on, you can go back and look at exactly what was said so that there's no confusion. All right, next one is Share My Lesson. This is a great site that you can go on to look at lesson plans for various subjects that have been shared by other teachers. So you can search by grade, you can search by standard, you can search by particular topics, but teachers go on here, they share lesson plans relating to certain things. You can search keywords to find a lesson that might fit something you're needing if you're needing ideas. You can submit your own lessons to be shared. Great thing about it is it's free. So great resource to check out. Next one is Kahoot. Most of you have probably heard of Kahoot. It is a great site to use for review games. The only thing is students need to have their own devices, or you need to be in a computer lab or something that they can access. So you need a projector to show the questions, and then students need devices to be able to log in and answer questions. But if you have that set up, this is a great tool. You can create your own presentation with your own personalized questions, or you can do topic searches and find something that someone else has created and either use that or tweak it a little bit and make it your own, but still use it as a base. It's a lot of fun. Students enjoy the competitive aspect of it, and it still serves a very useful purpose. All right, next site is Teach with Movies. I know sometimes we all want to use a movie in class, either to reinforce a concept or introduce a concept, or sometimes even to save our sanity a little bit. Teach with Movies is great because it has several popular movies linked to specific subjects. Go on there. They have lesson plans and learning guides to go along with those movies. So if you want students to fill out a discussion guide as they watch, or if you want discussion topics to talk about after the movie, Teach with Movies is a great site. So again, you can search by topic, find the movie you're wanting to show, and then look at the worksheets, discussion topics, or other things that go along with that, so that you don't have to create your own. Class Dojo is the next site. It's typically geared more towards elementary students. However, I found that even with certain groups of middle school students, this can be a great tool to use. Class Dojo is a visible behavior chart, more or less. So you add your class in, you add your students, they go in, they get to personalize and create their own character. So as you can see here, this is my son's character that he has created. His teacher uses Class Dojo. So you can have this displayed on the board if students are doing what they're told. You can give them positive points for working together, following directions, listening. There's different categories. You can give individual students points, or you can give the class as a whole points. You can also take away points if they're not doing as they're supposed to, which will then show up as red. This pie chart right here shows the weekly progress. You can also show daily, monthly. It will summarize everything for you. Again, it's free, very simple to use, and it just makes a good motivator for students who like to look at the board and be like, oh, shoot, I'm not really doing what I'm supposed to. So it kind of helps to keep them on task and keep them motivated behavior-wise. iRubric is the next site. As a FACS teacher, I do a lot of projects. And I know for other classes that do projects, sometimes it can be frustrating having to create your own rubric, and maybe you need some ideas or you just want a base to start from. iRubric is great. Again, it's free. That's always a plus. Create an account. You can do a keyword search for rubrics, either by class, project type, grade level. It's a lot of different filters you can use to search for results. But then you can look through the rubrics. If you find something that looks similar to what you want, you can copy it to your files and go in and edit it and just tweak what you need to. Or if you know what you want, you can build a blank rubric based on the templates that they have. The rubrics can then be stored. You can go back in and access them later just by signing in again. So this is a really, really great tool to help you build rubrics either from scratch, or again, if you already know what you want and you're finding a starting point from something someone else has created. Next site is Donors Choose. I work in a very, very small school district that has a very, very small budget. So Donors Choose can be a great resource for getting items you need for your classroom that you would not be able to afford on your own. So you log in, you create a free account, and then you design a project. One I did last year was to get new sewing machines for my class because the ones we had did not work. So you create your project, you explain about your class, how that equipment or books or whatever it is you're trying to get would benefit your class and your students. And then people donate to your project. Once it has been fully funded, the Donors Choose team will go and order your equipment or whatever it is you have requested for you, and it will be sent to your school. And then the only thing you have to do after that is create a thank you package. So your students will write thank you notes. You might take some pictures to send to your donors. And there you go. It's a great, great resource to use in order to get more materials for your classroom. All right, last website, Google Drive. Again, most people probably know about this, probably use it. However, this particular example is a Google Drive list for FACS teachers that has a bunch of different lesson plans and ideas and substitute teacher plans that people have submitted that we can go in and then we can use or we can tweak. Check out Facebook. Look at Facebook, find a group specific to the content area that you teach. See if they have something like this. You know, just a great list of resources for you to use and go to when you may need ideas or maybe you need something to leave for sub-plans and you're not really sure what. If not, this is a great thing for you to use on your own to collaborate with other people either in your building or that you know at local schools. So it's a great, great way to share resources. All right, moving on to apps. Epic is a free app that has several ebooks, audiobooks, so like picture books, comic books, nonfiction, all of that are available. Teachers can set up free accounts so that their students can access the books on their own devices or at home. And then you can send home login info, that way the parents can help them. You can also set up reading logs to keep track of what students are reading to kind of give you a better idea of what their preferences are or if they're actually making use of the program. This is really, really a great resource to use for your students, either in class or, like I said, to send home. I know my son uses this in school, and it's a really, really great app. Post-it. If you're like me, you go through a ton of Post-its, and they don't stay sticky very long, so they tend to fall, and you lose them. Post-it is a great free app that lets you take pictures of the Post-it notes that you have and then put them on a digital board on your phone. You can arrange them, you can categorize them, you can save them as a PDF or in Microsoft Drive or something like that. It's a great, great way to kind of digitize those Post-it notes so you have them in more than one location. Sand timer. This, there are several different timer apps. I like this one because of the digital aspect of it. It makes transitions a lot easier for students. If they have something to look at up front so they can kind of keep track of their own time, I think it makes it a lot easier. I like to use this if I tell them they have, 5 minutes to finish up a project. I'll set the timer up for 5 minutes so they can look up and kind of keep an eye on how much time they have left. So it's not coming as a surprise to them, and it really just makes transitions a lot smoother. Typing club. I included this one because I also teach elementary computers, and I have noticed that even in middle and high school, the lack of typing skills is astounding in students. So this is a great free app that shows proper hand placement, has typing practice, typing tests, and can just be a great thing to use for students, even just as a time filler, just getting them some more practice. Add Puzzle, great app. It lets you take a YouTube video or any other video you found somewhere else and make it your own. You can crop it, you can add your own voice to narrate, you can also embed quizzes in the middle of it. So after 2 minutes of video, students may have to answer, 2 questions. But it's a great way to turn videos into mini lessons that students can use. This works really well if you have devices in the classroom, but it's just a great tool. And again, it's free. Who doesn't like free? All right, now we're moving on to extensions. If you're like me, I tend to use Google Chrome most of the time, so these are all Chrome extensions. First one is a URL shortener and a QR code generator. So there are times, especially again, if you have devices in the classroom that you want students to go to a particular site. And a lot of times giving them the web address can be this extremely long, complicated string. So URL shortener, you put in the URL that you want students to go to, and it will generate a shortened code similar to this right here. It will also generate a QR code that you can print off or display on the board at the front of the room. Students can scan it with their device, or students can enter in the shortened URL code to find the site you are wanting them to go to. It is a big time saver. All right, tab scissors and tab glue. They kind of go together, although they are 2 separate extensions. The nice thing about these is sometimes you have several tabs open on a window, but there are 2 particular ones that you want to be next to each other so that you don't have to, it's easier to switch back and forth between the 2. Tab scissors lets you separate the tabs from the current screen you're on, and tab glue will glue those tabs together. Very simple and just an easy little trick. All right, I mentioned Google Drive earlier as a great website to use. So an extension to go along with that is the Save to Google Drive. This adds an easy little button at the top of your browser that you can click it, and it will automatically save whatever you're looking at to Google Drive. Just makes it a lot simpler to save something to Drive without going to Drive itself and uploading and going through that process. Reader Pro. Reader Pro is a great extension for cleaning up news articles. Let's say you want your students to read an article off of MSN News or something of that sort. Usually there are a lot of ads, bordering the article that can make it kind of distracting. Reader Pro cleans it up. It takes away all of the ads and everything else and just leaves you with the article text. So it's a great way to still get the article, but keep students from being distracted with all the extras. Speaking of being distracted, Stay Focused is a great extension that can help you block time-wasting sites. I know I tend to get distracted sometimes with Facebook or sometimes, just other sites that maybe I spend more time on than I should. Stay Focused is a way to block certain websites that you find yourself spending too much time on. This can be useful for you as a teacher to help increase your productivity, or to use for your students on the devices if they're spending time on things that they really shouldn't. All right, here are the resources that I used. These listed right here are the sites where I found ideas for the great apps to use, besides the ones that I have personally used. And then here are the links to the various sites, apps, and extensions themselves to make it easier for you to find them and hopefully just make your life easier.